Throughout history, death row inmates have been granted the tradition of choosing their last meal before execution. Some requests are simple, while others are extravagant, bizarre, or downright shocking. Kicking off our list at number 5 is Gary Simmons Jr., who went all out with a massive feast before his execution. Gary Simmons Jr. was convicted of a brutal and horrific crime that shocked everyone. In 1996, Simmons, a former butcher, kidnapped and brutally murdered Jeffrey Wolfe over a drug-related dispute. Simmons not only shot Wolfe, but also dismembered his body using tools from his previous profession, then disposed of the remains in a bayou. This grisly act, combined with the kidnapping and assault of Wolfe's girlfriend, led to Simmons receiving the death penalty. When it came time for his execution, Simmons' last meal request was just as shocking in size as his crime was in brutality. He requested a feast that included a pizza with extra cheese, 10 packs of Parmesan cheese, 10 packs of ranch dressing, a family-sized bag of Doritos, 2 large strawberry milkshakes, cherry Kool-Aid, and a supersized McDonald's fries. Altogether, the meal clocked in at over 29,000 calories, making it one of the most gluttonous and extravagant final meals in history. Gary Simmons' last meal request is often remembered as one of the most excessive, reflecting the dark, excessive nature of his crimes. Moving on to number 4, we have Timothy McVeigh, the man responsible for one of the deadliest acts of domestic terrorism in U.S. history. Timothy McVeigh is infamous for carrying out the Oklahoma City bombing on April 19, 1995, which remains one of the deadliest acts of domestic terrorism in U.S. history. McVeigh parked a rental truck filled with explosives outside the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building and detonated it, killing 168 people, including 19 children, and injuring hundreds more. This devastating act was fueled by McVeigh's anti-government sentiments, and he showed no remorse for the innocent lives lost. Before his execution by lethal injection in 2001, McVeigh requested a surprisingly simple last meal: 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream. His choice stands in stark contrast to the enormity of his crime, leaving many to wonder about the psychology behind such a modest request from a man who caused such widespread destruction. At number 3, we have John Wayne Gacy, a serial killer whose horrifying crimes shocked the nation. Known as the Killer Clown, Gacy's last meal was as notorious as the man himself. John Wayne Gacy is one of the most infamous serial killers in American history. Between 1972 and 1978, Gacy brutally murdered 33 young men and boys, many of whom he lured to his home under the guise of offering them work or friendship. Known as the Killer Clown due to his habit of dressing as Pogo the Clown for children's parties, Gacy's chilling crimes were discovered when authorities found the bodies of many of his victims buried in the crawl space beneath his home. His ability to lead a double life as a seemingly ordinary man while committing such monstrous acts horrified the nation. On the day of his execution in 1994, Gacy requested a hearty final meal. His request included a bucket of KFC fried chicken, a dozen fried shrimp, French fries, fresh strawberries, and a Diet Coke. Gacy's last meal was notable not only for its size, but also for its connection to his past, as he had once managed several KFC franchises before his crimes came to light. Coming in at number 2 is Velma Barfield, the first woman to be executed in the U.S. after the reinstatement of the death penalty. Velma Barfield, often referred to as the Death Row Granny, was a convicted serial killer responsible for the deaths of 6 people, including her own fiancé and her own mother. Barfield used arsenic poisoning to kill her victims, targeting those who were close to her in order to cover up her financial misdeeds and drug addiction. Her crimes were discovered when her fiancé's autopsy revealed lethal amounts of arsenic in his system, leading to her arrest and eventual conviction. Barfield was the first woman to be executed in the United States after the death penalty was reinstated in 1976. On the night of her execution in 1984, Barfield's final meal was humble. She requested a bag of cheese doodles and a can of Coca-Cola. This modest request was a stark contrast to the more elaborate meals of others on death row, reflecting perhaps her religious conversion while incarcerated. And finally, at number 1, we have Lawrence Russell Brewer, whose last meal request was so outrageous it led to the state of Texas banning the last meal tradition altogether. Lawrence Russell Brewer was convicted for his role in one of the most heinous hate crimes in modern U.S. history, the brutal murder of James Byrd Jr. in 1998. Brewer, along with two other white supremacists, offered Byrd a ride, only to chain him to the back of a pickup truck and drag him for miles along a country road in Texas. Byrd, a black man, was killed in this act of unimaginable cruelty, which shocked the nation and highlighted the ongoing issue of racial violence in America. Brewer showed no remorse for his actions and was sentenced to death for his role in the crime. Before his execution in 2011, Brewer made an incredibly excessive last meal request. He asked for 2 chicken fried steaks, a triple bacon cheeseburger, a cheese omelet, fried okra, 3 fajitas, a pound of barbecue, half a loaf of white bread, a meat lover's pizza, a pint of Bluebell ice cream, a slab of peanut butter fudge, and 3 root beers. But in a final act of defiance, Brewer didn't eat a single bite of the meal. His wasteful request sparked outrage and led the state of Texas to eliminate the last meal tradition for all future death row inmates. And there you have it, 5 of the most memorable last meals from some of the most infamous death row inmates in history. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comments which last meal shocked you the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.